Hello, everybody. Welcome to Screen Time Continuum, and I am here with Nick and Keelan. How you guys doing?
Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah.
It's
Happy
it's
Wednesday.
I think it's
it's
Wednesday.
Odin Day. What are you guys
It
talking about?
is. Happy Odin's Day.
We're
I hope
just
it's not. Is it? Are we back at that already? It can't be Odin's Day again.
no season two, not till next year.
Ooh, ooh, you scared
Hopefully,
me.
More Marvel.
no. We're taking a break from Marvel. Hopefully, hopefully.
Mhm.
So, thank you guys for joining us tonight. And tonight is my pick because when someone else is doing an intro besides Nick, we're rotating movies or TV shows, whatever comes first. So my pick tonight is a movie called Dope. Jesus Christ, what year did this movie come out? 2015. And this movie was directed by a man named, I don't know if I'm gonna say his last name correctly, but directed and written by Rick Famo Fam Weewa.
You know what? I don't have any better pronunciation. Famayiwa, I guess.
Famo
Yeah.
Uh,
We'll just say it with a little more confidence.
Sounds closer.
Famayiwa.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Family
same
Yiwa.
ballpark with you.
if I can say it, this movie has been produced and just produced by Pharrell Williams and Forrest Whitaker.
Mhm.
And
And
let's
Puff Daddy too.
Puff Daddy. I did
Yeah,
not
it's.
know that.
I found out when I was looking it up, it's a part of Revolt Films, and I thought that
Mm.
was really interesting. So I dove deep, like who's all producing this from Revolt, and it explained so many things for me. But I'll get there as we go.
Okay, cool. Because you can catch up to me on some things I do not know about this movie
For
by
sure.
me just seeing a trailer years ago and wanting to see it, and then see it a year after it came out. It's like, wow, this movie was dope. Well,
Mhm.
literally, no pun intended. So let's see who we got in this movie that we can recognize. Let's
Oh man, I
see.
you may have you. I got you. I promise
We
I
got.
got you.
I can probably say just some people
Go for it.
like Shamik Moore.
Yes.
Only thing I know Shamik Moore was from this movie, and the big hit. What was that movie that just came out like 2 years ago or a year ago? Into the Spider Verse. He played Miles
Miles.
Morales.
Right. And
We
he'll also
have,
play Miles in part two.
and he will be playing. He will be
Mhm.
taking that mantle back up as Miles.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got what's this dude names? Tony
Tony
Reed
Revolori.
Valeri. Only thing I noticed Cat in is Spider Man. He plays fucking Flash Thompson. That's
Oh, he was black.
that's the only thing I know him from.
There you go.
Let's see. Who's the chick that played Diggy? I seen her in
Um, you know what? I don't know her name, but I've seen her in quite a few things as well. I didn't catch her name, or I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll say
It's Kiersey
Key.
Clemens.
Kiersey
Yes,
Clemens. Thank
Kirsty
you.
comes in.
Mhm.
Then we have Kimberly Ellis, and that's what most people seen this movie was for a modern rapper. I don't know if he's really relevant today. ASAP Rocky. And
Hmm.
then,
Hmm.
you know, who doesn't know Blake Anderson from Workaholics?
Right.
Mhm.
Then that's the only thing I can really throw out. Along with, I think there's another famous
Uh, Zoe
actress.
Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz was in
Uh,
this. And we have what always blows my mind every time I rewatch this movie is seeing Rick Fox.
Rick Fox.
Rick
Yeah.
Fox. Definitely Rick Fox.
For
I
that
think
one scene.
right. I think the
Oh,
only other
and that,
actor. Go ahead. Yeah.
and,
Sorry.
and don't forget Ricky Harris. That was funny
Oh,
cameo.
Ricky. Yes, that was a great. I think there were a lot of great cameos. Ricky Harris. I was every time he comes on the screen, I guess I get that same feeling you just said you get with Rick Fox. Just seeing when I see old Rick pop up, it's like, hey, look at old Rick still working, and then you remember, and it's like, dang, all right, Rick, we appreciate you.
Looking
I want
good, man.
I want right, always looking good, funny as always. Um, I do want to add a few things. I just remembered, Shamik Moore also plays in the Wu Tang show. He plays Raekwon.
Mm.
Or what is Corey Woods is the name of his character, Corey Woods, but that's what Raekwon the chef. His real name is Corey Woods. And he's also in that Netflix show, and I
The
don't want to
Get
butcher
Down.
which one. The Get Down, thank you. I'm
Mhm.
like the one that's about the origin of hip hop, and I did not get a chance to see that.
You should check it
Um,
out because you might be pissed off after you check it out because it was canceled right afterwards.
Really?
Hmm.
Didn't they get like 2 seasons out?
Just one.
Just one. Wow. Okay.
It's a good show, but yeah, they canceled it.
Mm-hmm. So I can help you with the cast because okay, I want to open with this. I don't know if we're at opening impressions yet. I'm just like really excited to give mine. I've seen this movie at least 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
In the year it came out, I watched it at least like 2 or 3 times right then in that moment because it was that great. Like it just jumped off the screen to me. It was ahead of its time. Like for me, this movie was just a little ahead of its time. Years later, watching it now at this age, this year, I was able to recognize how many cameos, like artist cameos, and that's where the Revolt Film thing really popped out to me. Like, oh, Revolt Film, that's owned by Diddy and his partners, and so I can understand how you were able to integrate so many musical artists into this film. And I'll just give a quick like rundown. Catch them, don't really matter. So we had A$AP Rocky, which you already mentioned. Vince Staples, Tyga, Cap G, and Casey Veggies. My bad, I had to look down my list. Some other notable names. You guys remember Stacy from The Wood, right? Stacy,
Yes.
right? DeAndre Bonds. He was in, I think this might actually been the last film he was in. This might have been I can't remember anything else he's in, DeAndre Bonds, but he was in this. No, I mean after like 2015. I mean, I think this might have been the last film we can find him in.
Because his biggest movie that scarred me was Locked Up.
Oh no, don't talk. We're not talking about Locked Up. We're not doing that. We're not doing that this episode.
Just to iterate, Nick, he got juiced.
Nick, you don't want to know.
Like Sands and Anarchy.
He got Shawshanked. Just leave
Marilyn
it.
Manson style.
He got Shawshanked. And he didn't. Why am I talking about it? Stop. So that's how you know that's a pivotal movie. Like if you've seen it, it ruins you.
God damn.
But so I know we mentioned Zoe Kravitz is in it, daughter Lenny Kravitz, and how did I blank out? Her mother is somebody help me out here. Zoe Kravitz's mother, Lenny Kravitz, was married to Lisa Bonet.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all didn't have to help me. I got it. No, but so other notable people I saw in here though. So you had DeAndre Bonds, Chanel Iman, and Lakeith Stanfield. So Chanel Iman was a Victoria's Secrets model at the time, real big, pop culture, trendy, right? But Lakeith Stanfield was still called Keith Stanfield. He was the blood that kept robbing him for his shoes and stuff. Nobody caught that one, huh?
No, I caught that. That was what was the the anime we just watched not too long ago on
Kira.
No.
Yasuke.
Yasuke. He was the voice of Yasuke. And Sorry to Bother You. And currently in Atlanta.
What's the anime, the live action anime he was in? And he played Kira.
I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
The one with the demons and the Death Note.
He's in Death Note.
He's in Death Note. He plays in the live action version of Death Note. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And he plays Kira, the investigator, super spy teenager dude. It's weird, but it's really cool. If you've ever seen the Death Note series, he plays the ultimate bad good guy, the super smart guy in there.
He does the whole Netflix iteration of it.
Correct. Okay. I'll pass it back. Sorry, the cast excites me.
This is good. So if anybody hasn't seen this movie is this totally, man. I want to compare it to like a modern day version of House Party, but a little bit more darker. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's like a modern day House Party in its own sense. This movie is legitimately aimed at, 3 kids that they get themselves into some stuff where they end up having to sell dope. And these kids don't want to have anything to do with them. Any part of this, they literally just want to live their life, do what they do best, and eventually go off to college. So let's start. What do you guys think of the movie? Just think of it.
I've
Should I
already
go
went
first?
too long. I'll let
Yes,
Nick
Nick.
go. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I'll simmer over here.
Because I think this is your
Okay.
first time seeing this.
Yeah, yeah. I hadn't seen it before. I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the storyline. It kind of reminded me of like if I could cross. And this is just because this is what they reminded me of. It reminded me of Stand By Me with like Friday meets Superbad, with like some other element of like there's got to be something else in there, like almost kind of like Blow a little bit too, but or Breaking Bad, where like somebody falls into the drug game. But yeah, definitely reminded me of kind of like an old Spielberg movie in a way, which I thought was really interesting. I liked the storytelling. I liked the acting. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really lighthearted for the material that was given. I think that there's, for me, a little bit of relief in the fact that they didn't go dark,
Too dark.
because the subject material could have, like, this kid could have lost everything, and like it could have been fucking awful. So I'm kind of glad that they kept a light tone with it, or as light as possible. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I'm trying to contain it. I really, like I said earlier, I've seen this movie a few times. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. There's so many aspects of it. The cast, the music. And it's weird to say the music, because when I mean the music, is more so the musical references. And the understanding of them just being 90s hip hop geeks. Like, they're just literally conversing and politicking about the intricacies of what hip hop was, not what it was perceived as.
I think it's hilarious that there's people who would nostalgize the 90s who hadn't lived through it. It's like kind of like how we, or our generation, did with the 80s. Now the younger kids are like, oh, 90s, man. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, it's like, if you weren't there and you find nothing but fun out of it, we gonna let you enjoy that, because we just go read the news clippings. How about that?
Right.
But just the for me, the music aspect though of that, them just bringing a lot of that up. ASAP Rocky's, or excuse me, Dom and Malcolm having that discussion at the car about the time period, and how this album, which was the blueprint at the time, but it was the exclamation point to what the hip hop origin was, and all the way up until there, how it was just beautiful, and then from there, call it what you want. For me, those are things that they light me up inside, because people don't talk about the influence of the art. They only talk about the influence of the perception, So for me, that's always just a big thing as far as when I see this movie, and just the story itself, being a kid from the inner city, knowing people who come from the same situations or come from the same neighborhoods and feel like there is no way out, so you got to do it a certain way. And just knowing people, seeing people, and trying to be one of those people who understand that life isn't in this little box. Like, you can stay in this little box, but life isn't in this little box. So that's like a lot of things I pull from the movie, and overall just good friendship and teamwork. Like, if that's not a highlight out of this movie, I don't know what is. Like, he had real friends that stuck with him. Like the one scene, are you real or fake? His friends were real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and did I say Cap G when I mentioned the artist? That's another artist that's in there, Cap G.
For me personally, jumping into seeing this movie, I seen the trailer for it back in 2015 when it first came out. I was like, I wanted to see this movie. Didn't get a chance to see it. I don't know. But I think it was towards the end. Was it the end of the year? I said last year, but no, I did see it at the very end of the year. And for me, it hit so many notes, because I was deep in and trying to like finish school and do some shit. And it was very relatable, from the creative aspects to just living life and trying to figure what you want to do next and who you are. And for me, it really hit those notes on just like life lessons. And if not life lessons for yourself, you can always relate to somebody who's been through something like that and appreciate, what you have and what you can do with it. That shit can be worse. And I think this is my third time watching this movie, and it holds up well 6 years down the road with so many things. Especially the thing with the Bitcoin shit
Mhm.
and how we're gonna see money currency just go the way it may go thanks to this pandemic.
Right.
So yeah, I thought it was funky as hell. Love the music. Love the
Although
action.
Bitcoin isn't 100% untraceable anymore. So
Yeah.
that is a little bit of a throwback. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, untraceable. Cool. Yeah. Tell me more.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think that's what made this
Yeah.
movie, and I hope I'm not cutting you off, Dejan.
No, go ahead.
That's what made this movie so much, in my opinion, ahead of its time. Like just the Bitcoin aspect and them really delving into the intricacies of what Bitcoin was at the time, and how it was being utilized by, like, I think that's what made it interesting. I want to say this movie came out and they utilized the whole Bitcoin thing right after like something had happened when Bitcoin had first started, and they started trying to. I don't think anything had happened where they had caught anybody doing anything drug related, but they were trying to make it like, oh, you know, only criminals use Bitcoin, like at the very beginning of it. So,
Well, I mean, Bitcoin's
Just,
been
yeah.
around for a while, but yeah,
Right.
I think around 2015 was when it
boom.
first had its big like boom.
yeah,
And yeah, people were like, "Oh, it's only for underground,
Criminals.
criminals." Yeah,
which is not
which it
true.
is. But it's also a store of value. Although we are no,
True.
Uh-oh, Nick.
Oh no!
yeah, there we go.
They,
We froze
they're,
up.
they're tapping you.
All right,
Yeah, they're tapping me.
we said too many things about Bitcoin and whatever else that other word we use. We're not gonna say it again. I promise.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly. This isn't monetary advice, so don't take our word
Promise.
for it.
Right.
Just
Oh,
watching
God.
this movie, I'm just like, damn, dude. I'm like coming from movies we watch like Spotless. What is it? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This movie and I don't know any other movies, but movies like this, I'm like movies like this, in my opinion, in that movie, they kind of get cut short, and you don't see films like this that really stand out in so many different ways. Never get recognized the way they should. They just fucking become cult hits.
Yeah, because people don't. I mean, the industry doesn't value holistic storytelling anymore,
Right.
And I think that's what it is.
Right. And they definitely don't want to tell you that they're student A's, student B's, and then there's student C's who are both student A and student B.
You know, and that makes it interesting to me because I'm like, when was the last time a movie? I can't say they're the same, but similar. I mean, into a sense, get really looked at. And I mean, last time I thought of a movie or seen a movie that got some recognition like that was Hustle and Flow back in 2005.
Wow. Yeah. And that had a lot of major backing.
Yeah, and
A lot of major money behind it.
And when I first seen that movie, I was just like, "Oh, okay."
Mm-hmm.
Although I think Atlanta it does pretty darn well as far as recognition in some respects. It does get nominated for stuff too.
Yes, but remember
it's not
that
a movie.
Atlanta was picked up as a lie, and they were bamboozled into doing Atlanta.
You talking about the TV show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were bamboozled.
Donald Glover finished it.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I'm not gonna say nothing about the show. But the story that Donald Glover told in a interview was that, I think it was with Complex, in fact, but was in fact that when he went to the pitch meeting, he did not pitch Atlanta. He pitched something totally different, like something more community friends-esque, like, like they were gonna get something like that, just something really quirky. And he flipped it and gave him Atlanta. And it did
or so
well.
he says.
Or so he says.
Or so he says.
I
That
like
sounds like
story
something
either way.
Donald Glover would say just to make himself.
Listen, have
feel
you ever
cool.
seen his stand-up?
Yeah, I've seen.
I
all
don't
of
think
his
he's
stuff.
that damn creative. So, no.
Hey. I mean, look, he has only done maybe an hour of stand-up.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Everything he's done outside of his stand-up is amazing. So, I mean, he's a damn great writer. But no, don't get me wrong. It could definitely be a false story, but false or true, the outcome stands up.
Yeah, I just don't think that a studio would be happy if you changed everything that you told them you were going to do.
6 Emmys, though. What they gonna do? They're gonna keep.
Well, they didn't. He didn't win those Emmys by the time they saw the final product. They could have pulled the
Oh
plug.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
that's what
I think-
I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man.
I would assume-
Studios don't give you money unless they know exactly what you're doing.
Right. Now this is true.
Yeah.
My only take is I ain't never been in those rooms, so I don't know who you can
Me
and can't
neither.
bamboozle.
Yep, I can't make any judgment.
Look,
now,
look.
honestly, never
Look.
been in a producer meeting.
Right. Walk in and find out that the creator has all the power. Poof, this isn't what we were told. What is this?
It's fucked up to say, but that's what it is. I mean, I haven't been in them or in something like that myself, but this speaking to editors and people that do get a chance to go in their room, they're like, it's fucking brutal, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you.
It's fucking brutal. It's fucking soul breaking,
Mhm.
especially
It's a money
for a
machine.
creator.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why most of the good stuff is indie.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was about to say. I was about to say my
Mhm.
theory is unless it's already been done or it's proven to make money, they're not going to budget it.
You know,
Mhm.
and that's very true because I think the last time I went to a convention, I got a chance to see and hear Joseph Gordon-Levitt talk, and he spoke about that. And one of his biggest things was like, "Hey, I did what I needed to do," and I think this is when he was talking about fucking Looper, and because Looper was his thing, and he was like, when I did Looper, it was just so satisfying that it was outside of the producer, like just a big budget movie coming from like big name companies and such. He had so much freedom. I was like, oh, so yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure everybody desires the freedom, so that goes
He does.
without saying. But yeah, so hey, maybe one day Donald Glover will come on the show and do an interview with us and tell us how that went.
He'll just judge us.
Hey, judge us, whatever. Just come on the show. I'm down. So yeah. So where do we start with Malcolm, Diggy, and Jib?
How about the names Diggy and Jib? Let's start there.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about names too before we jumped on.
Right.
I think if they had to call Malcolm by his last name, Adekambi, and then they went by Jib and Diggy, we'd have a whole different dialogue going about that. But I'm with you, Nick. Yeah, Jib and Diggy, I didn't get it either. I was like, so do we at least get to learn their real names at some point? Now, later looking at it, I was really like, okay, did we learn their real names at any point? No. They're just Jib and Diggy, and everybody learns their names as Jib and Diggy. And I'm like, oh, this is really LA high school all over again. This is why I did not like nicknames, because your nickname follows you. Like you'll be 42 in whatever nickname you still had. Oh, somebody had a joke about that. That just clicked. But yeah, you'll have a joke. Excuse me. You'll have a nickname, and that nickname's gonna ride with you. And don't let your family nickname get into your friend group, because you're screwed.
It sounds like you guys have been
That's true.
scarred. Sound like you guys
I have been scarred, which is why I don't have a nickname anymore. No, I'm joking. I have never
your
been
nickname,
scarred,
man?
but I used to. No, it's a family name that. No. My point is, that's really how things ride in LA. Like from my experience, one person over here know you by this. That's what you're gonna go 3 towns over, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, so and so told me about you. I heard about like." Oh, okay. So you heard about that, huh? What did they call me? Oh, they called me Scooty. Oh man, yeah. How did you? Hi, name's Jason.
Oh boy.
So yeah, man. Yeah, the names though for me, I'm assuming it's just one of those things like I just described, just a friend group type of thing, and that's just where it came from. It doesn't make sense if we're talking about continuity. I don't know. Why are you Dib? Why are you Diggy? I don't know. Jib, excuse me, and Diggy. I don't know. Maybe that's the rock band names. We just didn't learn that. That's the names in the band.
Also, another quibble I have, that wasn't punk music.
Oh, that was far from punk music. That was
totally alternative.
Yeah, I was saying that was somewhere between alternative.
That's pop. That was pop.
Yeah. Okay, pop.
I mean, yeah. That's okay. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't punk.
That's what happened when you got Pharrell doing the music.
That's right.
I'm actually
fair enough.
Like I was
fair
listening
enough.
to Nerd.
It also made me. it did feel a little nerdish. It also made me curious because I never listened to Shamik Moore's album that he came out with the same year of this movie, and it made me
Yeah,
curious.
he has an
What does
album,
that album sound like? Yeah, he came out with an album.
I
But it made me
wonder.
curious as to what that album sounds like, and then I remembered, oh, I like him as an actor.
Let's
Fair
like I'm gonna keep it this way.
Well,
I
no,
don't care
like
if you were harmonizing in Spider-Man, but come on.
I feel you. My point was that's why I never looked into his music. Jeez. But facts as well. Total facts. Excuse me. So
I'm about
yeah.
to burn my ears tonight.
What did you guys like? So as we start up, of course, we bring up Bitcoin from the beginning. We find out Kimberly Elise is Malcolm's mom. We get a background into who Malcolm wants to be more so than who he is at the time.
He wants to be like his dad. He wants to send his future son a copy of Superfly.
From wherever. Yeah, that was.
That's fucked up.
I think it
and
was
just move across the world.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Nigeria.
yeah.
Yeah. And that was the concept. It was like, wait, so your dad just went back home? And I think, wow, just the stories I've heard of people I know, right? Especially coming out of Inglewood. Like, I know so many Nigerians that grew up in Inglewood. But I think it's interesting because I've met so many people with their family coming from different places, different countries, and you find out, like, nah, some people really came to America, had a baby, and then the family was like, well, you got to go back. And it's like, wait, but I got a whole family here. You got to go back. And they're crazy stories because you think like, oh, that doesn't happen. But the fact that they put it in this movie shows how real it is, not just for the people that I may have heard those stories from, but across the board, because it got into this storyline somehow, meaning someone else lived it as well, not just the people who told me. And I think that's what a lot of this movie is just putting real life experiences together. And then bringing in familiar faces. Like, again, I was talking about DeAndre Bonds, Stacy from the Wood, him being the security guard at the school. It kind of gave you that level of familiarity, you know? Also, what I thought was interesting, the kids, so paint something for you guys. So they live in Inglewood, but they shot the movie at Crenshaw High, right? I just happen to know what those gates look like. But even in scenes like where they try to keep everything really congruent, and I liked this, when they were running from the school and then they go over that bridge, that with the Thurgood Marshall Bridge, that bridge is in Inglewood, going to the Inglewood City Hall. And if you're running from the direction they were running, you were coming from Inglewood High School, which is kind of like on the far side past Manchester when you're going that way. So it's like, if you know the layout, it actually looks like, oh, dang, they really came from, that's where they go. But they never said they go to this school or they go to that school. So I thought that was also pretty cool.
Yeah, like no give like it was funny. Like over there where they were going through the gates and stuff. That's where my wife used to live. I'm like, that's LA, dude. That's over there off of Fairfax.
Yeah.
Fairfax Avenue going to the 10 freeway.
Right. There were a lot of different places that they utilize. Imperial in Vermont. Like we could name so many places. Even the donut shop that
Randy's.
Yeah, that's Randy's on Florence. The taco spot. I know the taco spot, but I can't remember exactly where it is. That's what's
it's off of
that taco spot. Is that West LA?
No, that's Century.
That's
Century's going to the airport.
Okay, I know what you're talking. That's not there anymore.
Yep, not there anymore.
That's not there anymore. Okay.
The rallies used to be across the street, and now it's a Starbucks.
Yep, that's what I'm going. Jeez,
just what we know.
Old school LA.
Another Starbucks.
Yeah, man. You know, got to get the coffee beans in you. If you without your coffee beans, where would you be?
I'm sorry, I don't like coffee beans. That shit's too sweet for me.
Not
too
coffee
sweet,
bean, but coffee in general. The coffee bean.
Oh,
I don't. You know what? What is the? I'm gonna ask this question live on air. What is the difference between coffee bean and Starbucks? Like for real?
Coffee bean uses powder to sweeten everything. Starbucks uses syrup.
That's
really the difference.
That's the difference. Oh, thank you.
I was just gonna say one is kosher.
What is it? I think coffee bean's kosher.
I was gonna ask which one is kosher,
but
I don't think
not
it's
anymore.
Starbucks.
Not anymore.
Companies
like we're not doing kosher anymore.
Wow, kosher. I was about to ask. We're about to start a different conversation. Kosher coffee, huh?
Hey,
let's get into the bean.
But think about it. Hey, the coffee, the Starbucks at this place was called 7 Coffee.
Yes, 7 Coffee. I thought that was pretty Interesting. I really didn't know how else. I was like, so y'all just wouldn't pay the extra $50 for that licensing, huh? Like you're using their
No, didn't
building.
it say $7 coffee?
Did it say $7? 7 something coffee.
So they're making a joke about how expensive Starbucks is. $7 coffee, $7 coffees.
That makes
Pharrell
sense.
could have, Pharrell or Forrest Whitaker could have
Could have
afforded that.
afforded that. They could have footed the bill for the kids.
I don't think Starbucks has done a paid promotion since Austin Powers.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That wasn't Austin Powers.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It was the second one,
think
right?
that's-
This is why we need a point.
Yeah.
This is why we need like one of those like when you do live and people
We need a
type in-
Jamie.
We need a Jamie. We
Yeah.
definitely need a Jamie. Hey Jamie, can you add 2 stars to my square? Because I got that one right.
Right.
Jamie, no.
Now
All right.
accepting applications for a live producer if anybody wants to join us.
Definitely throwing that out there, guys.
Mhm.
If you don't know what the job entails, just go look at some of your favorite podcasts and listen when they make those comments that you're like, wait, who is he talking to? That will be you. So I want to ask, and I'm let me know, Dejan, if you have anything that you wanted to get towards specifically. But we see that Malcolm,
No, go ahead.
we see that Malcolm is the unsuspecting, because he's the geeky kid, but he has like this head on his shoulder. He writes this thesis paper on Ice Cube's "Today Was a Good Day." Before I ask how you felt about the counselor, if you were a counselor, I have to know what would your response have been? Because
They've done a study on this already.
They did.
Well, I mean, yeah, they did, but
Yeah, they did like an official study to find
Yeah.
out which day Ice Cube was talking about, and they
yeah.
found out the exact day. So, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It makes
This is
sense.
true.
Like, like that was a legitimate paper that somebody
yeah,
did.
that was it's been done, and I think actually that they were spinning off of the fact that was done. At the time.
Yeah,
But like, if you were the counselor in this situation, though, that
I
would have been your
given him
response.
credit for being creative. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Who
right.
who wants to hear the same old, like bio No. If I'm going to be selecting for a school, I want to see people that do something different. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear the same old I was blah 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 and until I was yada yada. Like, I want to hear something creative,
To tell you the truth, I 110% agree, and that's funny because I was that type of student too myself. I used to write witty little shit like, I don't want to write that that shit that disconturates everything. I'm saying that word so wrong right now.
Regurgitates.
Regurgitating.
Yeah.
And that reminded me when I first started off, like in community college, I think my English teacher was just kind of like, what the fuck? I wrote a paper based off of like discipline and I named it Spank. And she was just looking like, and I was like, yeah. She's like, that was very bold of you. I'm like, why not? This is an English paper. Gotta get creative.
It's like the Chuck Palahniuk approach, the guy that did Fight Club, and he did a book called Choke as well, which is just about somebody choking.
and that's what I was kind of getting at from too, because I literally got through finished reading Fight Club. So me as a counselor, which that's another thing. Honestly, yeah, I agree with Nick. I would totally encourage it because back in my high school, they didn't encourage shit. My counselor we had several different counselors because we had such a big school. And my counselor was just such a sexist. If I didn't have ass tits or some legs, he wasn't talking to me, man.
Yikes.
I can give you a better example. My wife. We went to the same high school. And my wife's counselor was another prick. And she wanted to take auto mechanics. We had an auto mechanic class.
She can't do that. She's a woman.
and that's what it was. He was like, "You sure you want to do that?"
Of course it was.
Your nails will get dirty. And I'm like,
so
she
stupid.
told me
Oh
that,
my God. What an ass. Jesus.
So he basically fucking dictated to her. go take something like wood shop or some shit.
Knitting.
Oh.
How about that?
Go chop my arm off in a bandsaw rather than learn how to change
Yeah,
a tire in my
exactly.
oil.
Right. Let me learn how to make a fucking birdhouse instead of repairing a motor.
And basically, she'll need to know how to make that birdhouse when she's doing crafts with her kids. That's what it is.
Maybe.
And
Yeah.
she's more of a handyman than I am around here. So I'm all up for it.
Because fixing things doesn't have a gender. That's why.
No.
It's fucking hot in my opinion.
There you go. See, it's a perfect match. I don't understand. Yeah, that guy was being such a jerk, and you know that's the sort of like critique on the sort of restrictive parameters that schooling tries to place you in, and you know, like for some people it works. Some people can really excel and do well in that environment because they excel off of maybe the regimentation, but a lot of other people don't. You know, a lot of other people feel stifled by it, and it's interesting to see because I think a lot of people have a hard time. I'm like, I sucked in high school, man. I did just enough. I did just enough to get C's, just enough to make sure my parents weren't mad at me. That was it. Never did homework. I never did one day of homework in my life. Never read one book, but I did all the fucking tests. I did all the essays, and that was it. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I agree with you, dude.
Yeah, that makes
I didn't do any of that shit myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the perfect reason for that, if I'm being honest, is they tell us how low the bar is. They never tell us how high the bar is.
Exactly. And I think that's why this movie is so relatable for us too.
Definitely.
So yeah, and my response to that, before we get into what the counselor, the prick on the screen did, if I were the counselor, I would have the same as you guys, encouraged him, but I would have encouraged him to rewrite the thesis from his perspective of if it were his good day. But either way, I think either of those essays, the essay that he, well, of course, the essay, or either 3 essays, the essay he actually ended up writing, the original essay, or the essay that I just brung up, would have gotten him the nod that he was looking for, the nod of creativity, individuality, and simply being different, being a standout.
Oh, yeah, he said it himself that the other way, the way the counselor wanted him to do it was a cliche, and he wasn't interested in that. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true too.
Yeah. But so yeah, and so the counselor for me was just told the actual in the movie. So the counselor was just trash. Like he was first off, he was a hater. Let's be honest, he was a hater. He felt like Malcolm wasn't gonna have that level of like, have you been counseling this kid for the last 4 years? You should already know who's walking into your office.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is something I
never met once with my counselor in high school.
Oh wow, really?
Never.
Oh, wow.
They didn't know who I was.
I had to meet with my counselor regularly, and because we all shared a little bit about counselors, I had like the most encouraging counselors until my 3rd year of college. And that's because my counselor for my first 2 year of college, she had gotten pregnant and then, of course, went into labor, had to be a mother. And then my high school counselor, I mean, that dude was kind of just like, hey, so what do you want to do? And you tell him what you want to do. And he'd be like, all right, well, he turned his computer screen towards you and he sit there with you and start typing and we figure it out together. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be taking notes. Yeah.
Which high school you go to? I'm just throwing it out there because
that's a whole nother joke. I went to a high school named Southwest Middle College High School on the LA Southwest Community College campus.
Okay, I can see why.
If you look at no, you can't, because if you look it up, they would have told you it was a continuation school all the way until when we got there.
No, I mean I can see why, because it's just like I'm trying to think. Dominguez Hills is kind of the same way too.
Yes.
And
they have a high school right on the same campus.
I mean, if you got someone of the same
Northridge
faculty, if you got someone of the same faculty, I think their biggest encouragement is to push a student. And the thing is, for me, going to the high school I went to, you know, I dealt with bullies most of my junior high years, but that shit shifted so interestingly, where that shift went to the teachers and the counselors being the bully bullies more than the students themselves. And I had to catch myself being the smartass, not to the bullies, because I ended up bullying the bullies, but I had to, throw down with the teachers verbally. You know, the fuck gives you the right to make me feel stupid when I'm supposed to be your fucking future?
Well, and just think about it this way: those people, when you were in school, were probably your age or younger.
Right now, yep.
Right now,
and miserable.
So yeah, so I don't. I mean, like a lot of those people have complexes as it is. Look, there's a lot of great teachers out there, but let's also there are a lot of bad teachers out there. I literally had a teacher who did nothing for 6 months at all. We did nothing. It was a math class. I think I missed out of 2 years of math in high school because I had math teachers that did not teach me anything. So, I mean, yeah, there are some bad teachers out there.
Yeah, I believe that there was a history teacher or two in my school that was doing some similar stuff right there. Yeah, it's good to know, not good to know, but kind of good to know that it wasn't just at my school. Because
well, and when you're a dumbass kid, you're like, oh sweet, I don't have to do anything. I could just hang out, and then
I can play.
When you realize you didn't learn shit,
I can play my handheld Nintendo and PlayStation. Listen to my iPod Nano.
My Game Boy, man.
I was
my
such
Game
a
Boy.
loser. I just do my homework for the next class.
Well, I would find somebody who is in that class and then copy their homework.
For the record, I had to pass classes to play ball, but geez, you guys just had like, wait, so you skip class and then do what? Man, I used to skip class and go sit at the lunch tables. They'd be like, what you doing? About to knock this workout, so when I get home, I got nothing to do.
Fuck off.
Fair enough.
I used to walk out on lunch, like tell the security guard, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to Taco Bell. You want something?" Yeah. All right, let's go.
You got security?
We had security, man. We had security.
Look, we had a fence. It's only like 12 feet. You can get over that thing.
Oh yeah.
Only the seniors were allowed to go out and get lunch. Nah, I just went. It was Taco Bell In and Out for me. Fuck all that.
We had Tommy Burger, but that was probably the worst decision you can make at eating a lunch at Tommy Burger, because then you have 2 more periods of having to wait.
You know what? That's no lie. We had a Tommy's not too far from our school, and I used to get the breakfast burrito. As soon as I get to the school, I'm like, ooh, or that
those
bathroom.
Things man, that chili dog or the chili burger is so good, but it does not sit in the stomach well.
I don't think my Del Taco stories can compete with this. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, we had a Del Taco. And my thing at a Del Taco was getting a burger. Damn well not to get a burger from Del Taco.
It's the only thing I used to eat.
Del Taco had the crinkle cut fries too, man.
Yes, they had crinkle cut fries, like 69-cent cheeseburgers, and 2 chicken tacos,
59-cent burritos.
Man, 59-cent bean and cheese burrito. Boy, you go in there with $3 and come out with a whole meal.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you this. Getting back onto the movie, that was one of the best scenes to me. He wanted his chili fries. He made sure to jump up that window with his chili fries.
Hey, priorities. Chili fries are awesome.
Definitely. So
he got his lunch.
So I always thought I think it's interesting the way the movie travels for me. Just the card being given to him by the dickhead counselor, which I'm wondering if the counselor also knew, and if that was going to be what he had to go through either way.
That was a weird turn for me, the Jacoby thing, because I was like, is this guy really telling this 17-year-old to go sell dope?
Yes.
Yeah,
I know he is, but Jesus,
he basically manipulated that. He barely fucked up that other kid's life.
He was he was 17. He was old enough.
Right. Old enough to go to
14.
jail. Right.
Saying.
Man.
But yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. But all right, another question. If you are Malcolm, do you introduce or do you go and talk to Nakia for Dom?
Yeah, I would do it, and then I wouldn't go to the party.
Thank you. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
If you're scared, all right, cool, do it. But do not under any circumstance, not because he wouldn't want you there, because he didn't mind you being there, but because she invited you specifically for that reason. Because
she's trouble.
I want to know how is it through this entire movie there was never a situation where he thought to himself, "Let me stop messing with this girl for Dom come try to kill me."
Right. Put a bullet in my head. Jesus, man. Yeah.
Oh, and for those out there who are thinking, no, but Dom was locked up, but he wasn't locked up forever. Remember the end of the movie?
Yeah. Well, and he just saw him. He just saw him knock some dude out in the club, and then he goes. Right. Then he keeps going after Nakia like a little puppy dog. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Come on, find somebody your own age.
this is the adult version of us speaking, and that peer pressure.
Of course. Nobody was pressuring him but him.
Exactly.
No. We are all.
Then his friends are just like, "Come on, let's do it."
And he was a virgin.
Right. We know but he didn't have sex.
He wasn't even.
So it didn't matter.
He was a virgin at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The whole point for me is he was not in control. Anytime Nakia walked into the room.
His dick was talking.
That was penis game 101. Man, the blood left his brain.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
That was worse than an anger issue he was having there. He was having a whole issue, a whole connection. All the blood was rushing straight from his head, away from his heart and everything else, and he was only moving with one thing. This is the only thing that makes sense.
Until that chick threw up on him, then he changed his mind. He's like, "Oh shit, I got a counselor appointment."
Oh, psycho chick? Yeah.
Also, it's kind of not sexy to see a Victoria's Secrets model vomit on somebody's face.
Didn't laugh.
that made it funny. But it's just like, so you put all of that, like he's being reckless. Like, yeah, okay, it's really clever, but he's being extremely reckless all the way until he's faced with the ultimatum.
He's being extremely reckless the entire time, dude. The entire time.
I think he's being much less reckless when they. So
we didn't find out that he was this cold, calculating mastermind until the last 5 minutes of the movie.
No. Yes, that part. Yes, that part. Yes, but I'm thinking before we get to that part, I'm thinking the first smart thing he did was not. Well, first off, the first dumb thing he did was show up to the party.
Yeah.
The second dumb thing he did was take the backpack from Dom. I don't care if it's my backpack, bro. You could keep that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know where you just came from. I might not be the guy in the middle of all of this, but I know what's going on. No.
Or at least opened your backpack before you went to school the next day.
At least before you go to school the next day. Yeah, I'm with that. At least
you didn't have to open your backpack one. Nope, he didn't do his homework.
Didn't do homework. He's a nerd. Who cares?
Right.
He don't do his homework. You know what the teacher gonna say? Something must have been going on. It's all right. Turn it in tomorrow. It ain't like if me or y'all don't turn in the homework, they won't call. They might call home, give us the attention, suspend us, lower the whole grade. They
just gave up on me.
That's what I'm saying. Like
they just said, "I'm not even gonna ask your ass." You know, I know you don't have it.
Fucking slap some cuffs on me and put me in detention. I'm just walking out that front door. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's all a slippery slope, and that's why that was one of my favorite parts. And how that just kept coming back up, and you realize the entire movie was a slippery slope. Living in the hood is a slippery slope. Make the wrong friend. Make the wrong friend.
Make one wrong decision, as you can see. You know.
So
I did appreciate how tense they kept that sort of thing too, because there were some moments in the movie where I'm like, God damn, man. Yeah, like if that was me. With a couple of keys in my backpack and with a gun, like, bro, the hell do you do?
I think one of the tensest moments when
I would have given it to the dude in El Camino.
No.
I would have been just like, you know what? I don't care. Dom is going away. I'm gonna give it to this guy.
And what's crazy with you saying that? I think that's the craziest thing for me is when that phone rang the first time. I was like, yo, whoever on the end of that line. You don't talk to them. You leave that phone somewhere. Oh, they found you because of it. So it's and the fact that it took them so long to get to that when they were supposed to be so tech savvy. Like, bro, how do you not? He told you how he was tracking you. He ain't the police.
And the worst part of it was a bus with his mom on it.
Yes, but I think
that was Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah, and I think that was as intentional as it was accidental. Intentional by the writers. But accidental, seemingly in the notion of Malcolm. I was gonna call him William, but Malcolm. I don't think it's like he would try to put his mom in danger, but he wasn't thinking about it that way. He was just thinking like, what's the best option? Like,
well, just like he wasn't thinking that he just ditched his phone after he got an address from Dom of where to go put the stuff. You know what I mean? Like Dom just said, I'm going to text you the address on the same phone that you need to go give the stuff to the guy. And then he's like, I'm just going to go ditch my phone. Mm-hmm. Yep. You didn't even delete the text message, man. Come on. This is amateur hour.
1000%. And even adding to that, when the guys, the thug dudes that are looking for him get the address, they never go to the address.
They do. Outside. They wait outside.
Oh, you're right. And that's how they followed him to the. You're right. Mm-hmm. Rewind. I didn't say that. So also the raid. That didn't make sense. The club raid, the drug deal that went bad.
Yeah.
So were the gang guys? Yeah, was it the police or a rival gang?
It was both. It was the police. The police ushered in the rival gang and were like, "Go shoot those guys, and then we'll just shoot everybody else." Okay, that's what it felt like, anyways.
That actually makes,
it's seriously because you see like someone came in, did it. That you just start seeing like police members till like the very end of that scene, especially when they're running out.
No, that's accurate. Yeah. So
Inside Snitch.
Say it again.
Inside Snitch, narc.
Oh yeah, that we figured out for sure was what was going on. Some kind of an inside job. But so when Dom calls and tells him, so okay, we all agree we wouldn't, or well, no, Nick, you said you would have gave it to the guy in the red El Camino. I would not have given it to the guy in the red El Camino because how did you know how to find me? That's like, whoa, all right, now gotta think this through. But would you have done what Dom had said had you had gotten that call first then? As I see Nick, I think you would have just done, hey, whoever's the first person that want to get this off my hands. Yeah, the
first person that wants to take this off my hands is going to do that now.
That's reasonable. That's ultra reasonable.
Like, fuck you, Dom, for putting it in my bag. Why the fuck would you put it into a 17-year-old's bag? I
mean, Dom was probably only 18, like as of last week. Well, it's his birthday. He probably had just turned 18 that day.
21.
21. Oh,
you got to assume because of the club and all that stuff.
Right. But you get me. So
yeah,
and clearly they was in that club before 21.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everybody in that club except Don was under 21. But excuse me. So, do you go to the address though when Dom gives you the address if you get that call first? Because that's a whole mission from the Bottoms to Ladera, and if
I'd be asking for a cut.
Definitely be asking for a cut. But if the Bottoms is Inglewood, and okay, so just remind me to cut 10% later. That's the whole point of that conversation. For me, the whole commute to the bottom from the Bottoms to Ladera Heights, like, bro, do you know how many hills I gotta go through to get to a big old house in Ladera? Now, if you send me to the
BMX bike,
right? Now, if you send me to the complexes where all the apartments are in Ladera, all right, I can get there in like 20 minutes, not a problem. But you want me to go to the hills, bro?
It's that movie logic.
Somebody got to drop me off.
It's to the movie logic to taking a simple.
There's never traffic
problem.
In LA.
There's definitely never traffic,
especially in these movies. Going back to watching Drive to watching this movie,
except Crash.
Yep.
Except for Crash. It's the only movie I've ever seen that's based in the LA County, even though it's mostly based in the Valley, and there was traffic.
I think that's because there was a car crash, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna just go,
it's technically traffic.
Some police activity was going on. There was a couple of things why there was traffic, but there was traffic.
I mean, come on. When we watch these superhero movies, mainly like the Avengers and shit, we don't see traffic in New York. Only time you see traffic in New York, unless you're watching a Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Like,
thank you. I was just about to say it was a Spider-Man flick.
Anything else, like, oh, you ain't gonna see no traffic. Aliens and shit popping up.
There was traffic in the Hulk movie when he was in Frisco, when he was picking up cars and stuff. It had to be traffic. How else was he picking up cars?
We don't count that.
We don't recognize that.
We don't recognize that movie.
That movie's looking real unfamiliar, and we only recognize real.
The closest a movie ever got to a movie ever got to accurate traffic was Vivica. Is it Vivica Fox in Independence Day?
Yes.
When she's trying to get out of LA, that is the closest, and that's just regular traffic without an apocalypse.
Well, I guess then we can also throw in Snake Escape from LA.
Yeah, that's fair. Then you just ride a tidal wave out. That's how you. That's how you do that.
That's definitely how he got out. I forgot. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot he wrote a damn tidal wave.
Then that Jake Gyllenhaal movie, The Day After Tomorrow.
But they were getting out of New York. Did anybody get out of LA? We never saw the get out of LA part.
Right? I don't know. Yeah.
I know the Quake, the Rock movie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right, I'm done. I'll stop.
Or remember Volcano?
That's the one. Thank you. That's the one. I was
Volcano in LA. Yeah.
Volcano and the one with the La Brea tar pits. Or was that Volcano?
I think that was Volcano.
That's Volcano.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Volcano. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
All that shit, and then that was in La Brea tar pits, and what was that? Fuck, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Whatever that park is called, MacArthur Park.
MacArthur Park, yeah.
MacArthur Park.
Yeah. Which, not gonna comment on that.
You guys want to get into ratings?
Well, yeah. Let's move through the end of this.
Yeah, we already blew an hour of this.
Oh man. So
okay, our childhood.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's the beauty of this movie. Though, is it's so close to home, especially for people who are from LA, that it can do that. It brings up some nostalgia. And it makes you want to discuss it. It makes you want to politic about, like, that's why I love this movie. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel at home. Or it makes me feel at home, people from the area at least, right? It's like watching the Insecure series. It's like, hey, I know that place.
Although I will have to say, I'll ask you guys. I really don't like the trope of the white guy begging black people to say the N-word. I'm like, does that ever happen to you guys? I'm genuinely asking.
Yes,
yes,
it was so real. Yes,
I can't fathom why any white person would do that. But okay, all right.
Now let me put it for me.
Yeah,
I have only. Sorry, really, you got it. My bad.
No, I was gonna say it, but you've been like asked to say it yourself from other people. I'm trying to remember somebody in the group that was trying to egg you on just to say it. Just say it.
Probably Mike. Yeah, Mike's tried to get me to say it a couple times, but nah, I'm good. I don't need to.
Once was in the cigarette corner, and I was crying, laughing so hard because Nick was like, "Bro, will you stop?" Like, no, I'm not gonna fucking. Like, he was getting visibly irritated. Like, stop. Like, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah,
which unfortunately just made it funnier to everyone else.
Yeah, of course. That's all right.
But to answer your question, Nick, for me, yes. But I can gladly say I have not gotten that question since I was like 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
Like, the only people that I think even have the audacity or, think that it's even a discussion that needs to be had are people who are just young enough to get the pass of you've never experienced getting punched in your mouth because you disrespected somebody.
That's fair.
And I think that's why even like there are black people I know who do not like being called the N-word.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And trust me, black, white, or in between, if you say it to them, they are ready to get down with you. They're going to tell you 1 or 2 times. And after that, it's open season. So it's one of those things that I don't think in real life people play with as much as they do on the movies. But it is something that has happened in the younger years. And I can see where they play on that.
And
most of them look exactly like his character.
Yeah.
So cringe, man.
I've been in that place. I get that. I tell people, I slip up and use the word myself. And I think this was probably like my biggest. Yes.
Why'd you guess?
Just because he said it like, oh my gosh, I sometimes sin and say it myself.
No, it's because of my morals. And I should start off with that. Morally, I'm against using a word, but I catch myself using it in the slang that it's used today because it's a negative. I have this conversation so many times with my brother and with my wife. It's like trying to juggle that word and the word gay. And, I tell people, well, the meaning of gay comes from happy, joyous, blissful, whatever, back in its original meaning to a slang to now it's considered, homosexual now. That's the definition it's given now, and you can't really walk out and just use it in a way of using in a term of it being something being lame,
corny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is with the N word, it's a thing of it comes from a history of negative connotation.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I try my best not to say it,
Mhm.
Based off of like what I don't want to be teaching my son
Right.
later on as I have this discussion with my father. And I'm like, dude, if my father tells me I can use the word because I've been through it and I've experienced this stuff, I'm like, how about we just stop using it altogether just to kind of exit it out?
Like, let's not make reason. Let's either you
Do it or don't do it.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
But beyond that, that's just my shit. That's
Yeah.
just my shit.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I just to share, because I think this, it's a great moment to share this. I'm a little. It's interesting, right? Like, I agree. Yeah, you shouldn't say certain things, like whatever. But my reasoning is everyone on this planet is not ready for the consequences that come their way with some of the things that come out of their mouth.
Yeah, definitely.
And so in that, I feel like, by all means, say what you want to say. Just be prepared for the consequences, because some people are not about to, hey, buddy, I'm not comfortable with that. You're going to have a whole different level of energy, and you have to,
A lot of people don't live with the threat of violence.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's the best way to put it. And because of the things I've seen and I do my best to just, I'm just not trying to offend nobody.
Mhm.
That and it is solidly true. And the thing is, to make a quick story short, I've had that discussion with buddies, and one ex-associate of mine, he got into doing rap, and he pushed himself into the rap game. He started doing, small shows,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Let me play this song for you." I'm like, "Okay." Got the N word in it, my dude. I'm like, "You drop that shit." He's like, no. You're my friend. It doesn't matter. They're cool with it. Okay. I didn't
Who's
go to the
cool
show.
with it? Yeah.
People paying to the show.
Yeah,
to come to
I
the show.
love that concept. Like, I know one person who's black that didn't punch me because I said it, so therefore it just must be okay.
Which is why I
Get
always
this.
tell people what I said a minute ago. Just be prepared, because you're gonna meet that person that's not cool with it.
Right.
And you know what? He met that person, and I didn't go to
Oh,
that
good.
show. I wish I was at that show.
You would
I sincerely wish.
Yeah.
And the whole time he was Facebook Live in this bad boy, and he's just like, and this one dude, he's hanging out, black dude, big dude. He's just like saying it so many times, drinking, smoking. Then he gets on stage, and this was the funniest thing. Whoever was recording it, man, he said it in a song, but you could see this dude in an earlier stream or the live video, he was already getting irritated. Only thing you see is this dude jumping on stage, one swift ass hit to the face, and my dude is flying into some drum sets.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go see him a couple of days, and he had a nasty ass black eye, and I'm like, I told you so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I'll say this, and then we can cut it. And just to be clear, I think the biggest thing on it, there are a lot of different terms around the world that people don't like. I really feel like this is the only one that, whether it's this movie, like media perpetuates, like, oh, hey, do you want to say it? You want to say it? You can say it if you like. Media, this is the only term that media tries to make you.
It's so true. Yeah.
And it's funny.
Yeah, they don't use the gay F slur. Like, they don't make people say that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. Like, because and
that was just a word. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just remember.
Yeah.
But
I do. But yeah, no. I mean, like, and I'll admit the liberal way in which the N word is applied in this movie is reminiscent of those high school days when I used to hear every person just saying it in high school. Just like, like people who aren't black just saying it, like they just could say it. And I was always confused by that. I don't know. But yeah. Again, Mike, I'm not going to say the word. So there you go.
Just in the walls until you get into the real world.
Right. Exactly. Until you get into the real world. That's pretty much it.
He's steamrolled by somebody who looks like the Malcolm character. Like, oh, I didn't know you guys got that angry.
Then you use the word steamroll like in that song.
Why?
That song is catchy.
Don't make it. Don't. Why? Why do you do this? You have this thing. It's an affinity for it. You're playing to the crowd, and they love it, man. No. So yeah, we get to the boys club. Mr. Jacoby's kids, Jalil and Lily, Nut Job 1, Nut Job 2. Yeah, Nut Job 1 and I'm just leaving it at that. And I don't know, like after we get through all of that, he takes Lily's car to meet AJ, to meet Mr. Jacoby, not knowing that it's his daughter's car. That doesn't raise a flag. Like he doesn't see his daughter's car outside.
I don't think that dude gives a shit about anything.
No, not what his kids has been doing.
Yeah.
You got a son slinging the word blood around like it's
man
phrase.
Right.
That young man, I know this was a movie, but every time I see this movie, I am scared for that young man's life, and I know that he lives through the movie. It's like, look, bro, don't go down there to the he's down there doing it. He's down there doing it.
Pulling guns.
He walks off after shooting himself. He just drives off like, yeah, the police is chasing me. All right, I'm going home regardless. I don't give a fuck.
Right. I mean, you knew he was going to shoot himself.
Stupid fuck.
Bad gun techniques. I mean, or safety. Yeah, so anyway, he gets pushed into having to sell the dope by Mr. Jacoby, who takes a very, very roundabout way of letting him know that this is now his obligation, no longer Dom's obligation. He doesn't know who Dom is. But, you know, if you had something and you took responsibility for it, then you should take responsibility and take care of the package to make sure that it's distributed and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, ooh, that's some cold pimp game he putting down.
Dude, I would throw it right there in his face. Hey, kiss my ass. Goodbye.
Yeah. See ya. This is your problem. I don't care.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
Now you want me to sell this shit? Are you kidding me? Holding it for a day was crazy. Now you want, so hold on. So you mean to tell me that you know, like $100,000 worth of product is okay to leave in the hands of a 17-year-old, and then furthermore make that 17-year-old sell it?
Oh no, somebody was gonna die for that product if it hadn't showed up eventually, or something was gonna happen. You know, maybe Mr. Jacoby was gonna make sure that Dom saw it some time, but either way, he wanted his money. So I mean, I think the logic there was drug dealers aren't looking for their inventory; they're looking for their money, and they don't care how they get it. I think what's silly about that is make sure that it's an idiot.
Yeah, well, also make sure it's somebody who would know how to do that. I don't know. I just think that there was many a time where this movie could have been like, and the end. But you know, obviously they had to keep it, you know, going because you can't end the movie. You couldn't end the movie after like 30 minutes and be like, and I didn't go to the party because I was studying for my SATs.
Right, and like that would have been the first reel in 2015.
See, we're going back to Infinity War, Star-Lord. The fuck?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Fucking Star-Lord.
I hope he has a beard in the next movie.
we get a Christmas special first.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right, we should get into the.
Yeah, I'm like, I was just talking about Avengers, and I had to stop myself.
We're getting all over the place.
There was quite a bit more, but there's nothing really worth.
Oh yeah, but we only got into like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten through. So yeah, they meet Willie Sherwood. They decide to sell the dope on the dark web. The dope does good because they do a good party, and after they do a good party, they make all their good money back, and everybody realizes that Malcolm is that dude and not to be fucked with. And he gets off. Well, we don't know if he goes to Harvard, but apparently he gets Nakia, or at least he goes to Six Flags with her. Keep that joke to myself. But really quick, let's just briefly talk about that moment where he let AJ know that he had him cornered. The moment where so after they sold all the drugs, they made all the money. He doesn't convert all the Bitcoin back. He converts 10,000 back and leaves 97,000 or however. The math was bad on that too. If it was 100 grand even, and you're saying he still has 97,000, but you gave him 10 grand in cash, that's bad math. Bad math. That's bad math, Mr. Smart Guy. But just how that transpired, do you think that Mr. Jacoby, the guy who thought that Amazon and people still bought CDs, had any clue what the hell he had just said to him?
No.
In my mind, he would. How would he?
I don't think he would, and he played on his stupidity for his knowledge on technology, and he just made him look like a bitch and scared. He
Right.
played it. He played the game of chess pretty damn good right then and there.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I do think that the contingency was actually there, but or maybe it wasn't. Maybe that was the whole point. I don't know. But I do think the contingency had to be there because he used all of their coding and stuff to do the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
the cop at the LAPD was already on the blockchain looking at the
trying to figure out
address.
the code. Yeah.
Yeah. So assumingly Jacoby's going to go to prison anyways.
That's my kind of what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
he bamboozles him, or he tells him he's bamboozling them, and if you don't do this, then blah 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 blah. But at the end, it does kind of
That ball was already in motion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was in motion mostly because of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what did you guys get of that? We all agreed that he didn't
To
really.
be honest,
there's no way he understood that.
yeah. To be honest, I think that was kind of like writing yourself into a corner.
Okay, but they were at the end, so it wasn't a big.
And they were at the end, so they were like, "Oh, maybe the entire time, like he set it up so that it trailed back to Jacoby or whatever." I mean, like it would have been made more sense if there was a little bit more foreshadowing of that, but I don't feel like we got any foreshadowing of that. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see any foreshadowing of putting all of this on Jacoby.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree. And then so the last thing that I thought, then again, for me, this is really the only part of the movie that's needed. Everything after all of that, he gives the gun back, he goes on his walk by himself, and when he starts talking about his thesis paper, let me introduce you to these two students. That's the entire movie right there to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The breaking down of the student A, student B, who you are in this scenario, or are you somewhere in between, that unidentified character, because we're, again, like I said about mainstream media specifically, we're not allowed to be multifaceted. Either you bounce a ball, or you dribble, or you write raps. Do you draw lyrics, or do you shoot a wicked ass jump shot? Like, that's all you can do. Or are you just scoring because your dad left and you're trying to figure it out? You definitely got to go through that in the hood. I loved that part of the movie, and I think that is the main part. If anybody would like to go just get a good chunk of what this movie is about and not have to watch the whole 2 hours, they could just watch that part, in my opinion.
I would agree with you, but I have to take one umbrage with one line that's said in that soliloquy.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, if I weren't black, would you still ask me that question? The answer is yes. Harvard will ask you why you want to go to Harvard,
but
no matter what your race is.
Right, I agree with
you. No matter what your race is.
But in Inglewood, specifically coming from the inner city, the obstacle that, well, you know that already. The obstacle that.
No, I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I do understand where he's coming from, but the answer is Harvard will ask you, no matter what you look like, why you want to go to Harvard.
and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the other part to that. I'm sorry, if I had just accomplished everything he just accomplished, made $100,000 for a business, boom, blah, blah, all of those things that he had accomplished within just that last month or so, bro, I don't care about going to Harvard. I'm about to go start a business.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but he might be better off at Harvard, to be honest.
I mean, I'm not saying don't go to Harvard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go to Harvard. I'm just saying I'm not going to be crying if that letter didn't say,
right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, he seems pretty resourceful.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at. Like,
there'll be other colleges be like,
right.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of
hacker.
Right.
Like, a savant hacker that has his own craft brew beer. Why don't you and this dude just come up with something?
Right. Yeah. Make another blockchain, do Ethereum. Yeah.
Right. Maybe they did create Ethereum, and that's
right.
This is called dope, and they were talking about Bitcoin, and the other one is called ET, and we don't know. We think it's just a knockoff of extraterrestrial.
Mm-hmm. There we go. All right, let's get to ratings, guys. Let's do this.
I'm gonna stop talking. I close my notebook.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
I'll
go
go
quick.
last.
I'm giving it 9. For me, it was very relatable. Love the characters. Love the music. Love the pace. and I can honestly say I can rewatch this maybe a couple times and it will still hold up. I can watch this another 4 or 5 years and I think it still hold up. And I think it'd be something I can most likely watch with my kid once he hits his high school years.
Mhm.
So,
Totally.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
It'd be outdated, but I definitely agree with the messages and the lessons. Yeah.
You know, there'll be a 10 reboots by the time Nathan is old
Oh,
enough to
God.
watch it.
I'd be like, no.
I hope not, but maybe.
We're watching the original shit.
Right.
Look, and the not to cut you off, but really quick, the drug in the reboot in about 6 years when they do a reboot, the drug in the reboot is going to be social media.
It'll
Yeah.
be just some sort of algorithm that you can download that makes you trip.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's gonna be Facebook, and it's gonna be budgeted by Facebook. The movie.
Facebook won't exist by then.
Okay,
It'll be dead.
Google might still be around.
Maybe.
Ass book.
Yeah.
Facebook, really?
This just came off the top of my head.
It already exists, bro, and it's not social. I promise.
Oh. In the butt.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's do this. We're trailing off here. I'm going to go 7.5. I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was a really fun movie. I enjoyed the kid dynamic. Again, it reminded me of, Steven Spielberg movie like Stand By Me or The Goonies meets Friday meets like Superbad. There was a lot of that like really good coming of age sort of feels to it, so I enjoyed it. A lot of twists and turns. I did like how the sort of the tension was kept going throughout the whole thing, but it didn't go too dark, because I think if it went too dark, that would have just been a bummer. But yeah, I thought it was a very solid movie, a lot of fun, and definitely recommend it. 7.5.
Nice, very nice. I am gonna go along with Dejan. We have the exact same rating. I am giving this a 9 as well. My level of excitement through this entire episode will explain why I'm giving it a 9. Again, cast, writing for the most part, there were a couple of plot holes, but hey, that's everything you write. Acting, you name it. Song placement, lessons. Like I said, you name it. You name it, I probably won't have any issues with it. So yeah, that's for me. I can leave it at that. It is a 9 for me. And altogether, that gives us 25.5 out of 30 or
8.5. Yeah.
Yep.
85%.
8.5 out of 10.
Something got dethroned.
Something definitely got dethroned, because last week was
Sonic
as well. So Sonic got
man.
dethroned. Yeah,
Sonic got
Sonic
dethroned.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
take that back. I'm gonna take my.
Hey, Sonic 2 is coming out soon enough.
All right, you guys. Who wants to close this out?
I'll take us through it. Let me tighten my tie up here.
Uh-oh.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Screen Time Continuum. That is the end of our review for the movie Dope 2015 feature by Revolt Films. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in. By all means, if you're interested in anything else we have going on, Dejan definitely has Strawberries and Coffee, which is right there on Twitch for you. Check that out. He also puts up all of his games and streams the next day over on YouTube. If you're interested in the Exofathom show, which Nick, Ayla, and Mike host, they talk about all kinds of things that I'm sure you'll be interested in. If you won't be interested in them, check them out anyway, because the conspiracy that I've come to, or excuse me, the theory that I've come to is there is no conspiracy. That is a really good show and you'll enjoy it. If you like numbers and statistics, check out what I do on Tuesdays. If Numbers Could Talk, 6 p.m. I talk about a couple of different things. I'm pretty sure you like that too. And the reason I know you'll like all of those things I named is you're still here with us, and you must really like and love the energy we give you here on the Screen Time Continuum. And if you didn't like the energy we had this episode, fret not, we'll be back Sunday for you. This show is on every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. We give you different things from TV shows and movies. I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys. And for the Screen Time Continuum, I am Keelan.
I am Nick.
I'm the mustard.
Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate you.